All right, we've got Kellen Mond up on the stage. So first question is from Gabe Bach, of course.
Hey, Kellen, when you and Jamon, I know you're really good friends. When you guys sit around and you talk football and you lay out your hopes for this season, your dreams for this season, what kind of things do you two talk about?
I think the biggest thing is how we can elevate and become better players than last year. Not only Jamon being my roommate, but now Hezekiah Jones and then Chase Lane are also my roommates. So having those receivers in my room and, they each play a different position. So just thinking how we can elevate and grow from last year and how we can help each other in each position and grow from last year. And, I think this team is going to be very special, but we got a long way to go and we got to continue to work.
Next, we'll go to Britton Zorneman and then Mike Lucas. Here we go.
Okay, there we go. Hey, Kellen, what did you feel like was the single biggest thing you needed to work on in the offseason leading into your final college season?
I think the biggest thing is not just playing with more confidence, but I think last year my fear of failure at times was pretty high. And, coming back and, throughout this whole COVID and quarantine, being able to just sit back and actually just evaluate myself and look myself in the mirror and figure out what I need to do to help my team and also, different ways I can lead to, help elevate this team. But, where I'm at mentally, I don't think I've been at this mind state in a really long time. So I feel really good. And I think this team is kind of feeding off my mentality right now. And I think we're in a really good state. So just trying to stay positive, when we go out and practice and, when we're off the field, trying to stay away from distractions that we have in College Station. And we're just trying to grow and get better each and every day.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Mike Lucas from KAGS and then Tyler Shaw from KBTX.
How you doing, Kellen?
Good.
I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on the new 10-game schedule? Do you like having the extra 2 SEC games, and what kind of challenges does that present for you and your team?
The schedule, I never really cared what the schedule is. I never tried to care about certain things that you can't control. We've always known playing in the SEC is always going to be a difficult thing. So, obviously it brings certain challenges, but, you look in the past and we played great teams each and every year. So we played Florida our freshman year. We played Alabama every year, Auburn every year, LSU, Mississippi State, and those teams. So, obviously people came into the season and said we got, a pretty easy schedule with certain teams, but, we're definitely not scared to play an all SEC schedule.
All right, we'll move to Tyler Shaw from KBTX, and then we'll go to Owen Buchanan.
Hey, Kellen, what's the atmosphere? Does camp feel different right now than years past? And just the fact that you've had the long time off and, the schedule's getting pushed back and everything. What does it feel like right now?
I could definitely say, that first day yesterday, there was definitely a different type of energy and, you could tell guys wanted to be out there on the field. Even with some of the younger guys and then that older leadership, there was definitely a presence about us that you can tell that this can be a different team. There wasn't really much in the playbook, probably more than a lot of teams. Much is for us, a small amount is probably a lot, but, I thought we executed really well today. Certain timing things that I think we need to clean up, but I felt very comfortable in what we were doing, and I felt really confident. I think a lot of guys out there were just playing with straight conviction, and they weren't scared about making mistakes.
Move to Owen Buchanan from Texags, and then on to Travis Brown from the Eagle.
Hi, Kellen. You talked about looking yourself in the mirror. So over the last several months, when you've evaluated yourself and your performance, what specifically do you think you need to do and what areas to get better, and how do you do that?
I think like I said before, just playing with 100% conviction and I think last year you can kind of look at maybe one play from each game, and some plays more in certain games where certain throws are not very accurate because I didn't really trust the receiver. I didn't trust myself on making that throw. So, I feel like just taking this whole time off, just continue to work on my craft. Especially yesterday, I felt, every ball was coming out of my hand exactly how I wanted it. I was playing with 100% conviction, and that's where I wanted to get to with my mentality. And I think guys, like I said, I think they're feeding off of that. And, I think everybody's in a really good spot, a really positive mind state.
Go to Travis Brown from the Eagle, and then Chip Howard from Sports Talk.
Hey, Kellen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Hey, curious what your what it means to you to be included in President Young's commission on diversity and inclusion. What has your participation been like with that, and just kind of what those meetings and what that's entailed for you?
Yeah, it was truly a blessing to be appointed to that, and even with my conversations with President Young before that, I think we had great conversations, and with him, I definitely think that he understands that certain changes need to be made within the university, and he knows that he wants what's best for the whole entire student body, not just myself. So, but it was definitely a blessing being able to be a part of that. With that, they kind of broke everybody up into subcommittees or subdivisions, and with my part, I'm more on current students and campus life and the student body. So I met with one of our subcommittee leaders last week, and just building a relationship with her and being able to communicate and figure out ways we can make this university and this town a better place for all type of people, I think is a really good thing.
Let's go to Chip Howard from Sports Talk, and then back to Gabe.
Kellen, if I could follow up on that, how has everything you've done, being kind of out front in the off season, affected you?
You mean more like COVID or what?
No, as a person, what has it done? You, as a quarterback, you take lots of criticism anyway. You're kind of used to that, but
Yeah.
but you've got some things got a little bit more personal with you out front. How did that affect you?
I always think I try to operate and just have a cool, calm mindset with everything. With certain issues that I've kind of addressed, no matter my stance on it, I'm always open-minded about the other side, because I would want the same respect from somebody else to be open-minded about my side. That's just kind of how I operate. And, whether anything that's going on, I'm always trying to grow and learn, not just in football, but just more about life, and just trying to give people the same respect that I would want for myself. So I think I've definitely grown off the field and just learning more about myself. And I think that's kind of one of the big things that I've learned about myself.
How surprised were you, or were you at all surprised at some of the pushback you got once you started leading?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
How surprised were you at some of the things that were said, or some of the people you kind of talked with and came face to face with in some of those demonstrations?
I think when you're at the status that I am, and when you start to become a leader, no matter your stance on something, there's always going to be an opposite side, and especially certain controversial decisions. But I can definitely tell you that, besides all the pushback that I got, there was definitely a lot more support. And I don't think that many people saw that. So even people, outside of football, certain people during football, Jamon and, a bunch of other former players and stuff were commending me on the certain leadership. And I think that was a really big thing, just knowing that I have their support. But I think that was the biggest thing. And, no matter what type of pushback that I get, like I said, I'm going to be open-minded, but I'm also going to stand firm on what I believe in.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Gabe Bach, and then Justin Woodard.
Yeah, Kellen, I want to ask you, Jimbo discussed all that newfound team speed you got offensively and these shiny new weapons with Demas and and Chain and some of these guys. When you've worked out with them, even preceding camp, who's really caught your eye so far among the young weapons?
Even before practice and then along with practice yesterday, I think it was good to see Caleb Chapman on the field. I know he was supposed to get some reps during games last year to kind of take a load off Kendrick, but he wasn't able to get in the games. But, I think same thing with me. I think he has a totally different mentality on the way he's approaching the game and what he's doing off the field. I'm really happy with what he's doing, and probably one of our fastest receivers. I think yesterday seeing Hez back on the field, torn Achilles last year and had to sit out pretty much a whole year. He was going to be back for spring ball, but he's been out a whole year. So having his type of speed on the field has been really good. Chase Lane did a really good job yesterday, and I think a lot of people saw his one-handed catch that he had. And he was really excited about that. But I think just the overall team speed that we have right now is really good, and probably the best that we've had since I've been here. So, we're definitely I'm not going to say switching up the offense, but we're definitely going to, I think, use our weapons a little bit differently this year now that we have this type of speed and athleticism.
We're running out of time, so I'm going to have Justin, and then I'm going to go to Cease, please.
Kellen, you just talked about all your weapons outside. Interested to see your perspective of what you see of a sophomore Isaiah Spiller and also another sophomore behind you, or next to you, I should say, and Anaya Smith obviously making the move to running back. How dynamic can those two guys be next to you, and how much option stuff – I know you have to give away all your secrets, but how much option stuff is on the table for that kind of a package?
I think one thing that I can definitely say about both of those guys, and one, Anais, I think he has a great feel for just the game of football, and whether he came from or was receiver and then moved to running back, he gets football. So certain things, the terminology changes a little bit, and certain things that he has to know differently than receiver, and he's able to pick that up really easy. And then also for Isaiah, I think just his ability to just grow from his first year. He had a really good season for a freshman last year, and I'm looking forward to see what he has to do with another year. So I think that tandem in the backfield is going to be phenomenal this year, and I think they're only going to be going up from last year.
All right, we're going to squeeze in two more questions. So Cease and then Brent.
So Kellen, how are you and your teammates being safe away from football when it comes to COVID, and how is that different from what you might have been doing last year at this time?
I think last year this time we would be in fall camp, so there's really not much time. When you're in fall camp, there's really not much time to do other things besides football, whether it's watching film, taking care of your body, or practicing. But now that school is going to be starting, it's a little bit harder to kind of keep us up here all day. So along with practice, besides practice, I think it's something that's emphasized in our meetings and stuff in our unity council, that we as a whole entire team got to be held accountable and making sure we're doing the right things and staying away from certain distractions and certain people. But I think as a whole entire team and as the collective unit, I think we've done a really good job. And I think the SEC, Ross, and then the guys, below him and down the chain have done a really good job communicating to us and just keeping us updated with all the changes that are going on.
So apologies to the people on the queue that I'm not going to be able to get to, but Brent, you're going to finish us off.
Kellen, I wanted to ask you about, there were some pictures that came out of some, students returning to campus, like at Alabama, and congregating very close, all those kind of things, some out of College Station. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I think SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey said it best. He said, we want to see some football. Do you have any message to your fellow students in terms of, trying to do things the right way leading into what I think everyone hopes is a 2020 football season?
Obviously I can't control the student body, and a lot of people, they don't have this, and it's not in a bad way, they don't have the same mindset, when football coming back, because a lot of us are if we test positive, or even if we're around somebody who tests positive, we're out for a minimum of 10 days. And a lot of us can't afford that. So, if the student body could just help us, wear your mask, limit the partying, and, football players, we're not even partying or doing all that stuff right now. I don't even think there's time for it, but, yeah, if they could, limit that and, try to stay as healthy as possible, I think that'll definitely help us. And, especially in College Station with a large body of students, I think if they're able to do that, then, we're definitely going to have a season. And, I look forward to them having, whether it's 50% or whatever, I look forward to them having, as many fans, as many students at our games. And we know as football players, we depend on those people. So if they can stay healthy, then they're only going to help us out as much as possible.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Kellen.